If you are going to tow 3.5 tonnes with the 250 Prado, all your passengers better be. I'm giving it everything right now. Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed. Alarms and bells ringing at you, and all you want to do is just reverse. I'm at the starting point of the test course where these two vehicles battled it out for the towing test. V8, this is tuned for towing against the stock new 2.8 automatic. This time, the 250. Towing capacity, 3.5 tonne. And should it really be towing that much weight? We got 3 tonne in the back, so let's find out. Prepare yourself for a roller coaster ride. The awesome, the bad, and the ugly truth of the 250 Prado as a towing vehicle. The 8-speed transmission, 48-volt assist motor. Does it actually help with towing? The 250 compared to the 76, as they both would have done the exact same course. Will the Prado 250 be able to tow 3 tonne up the hill? The same hill the V8 turbo diesel failed to maintain 100 kilometers per hour. I can't get over 80 now, even gearing down and up.
I am genuinely shocked.
And what about the fuel figures? Filling it to the brim to get the exact reading. Let's hook up the van. Things were not off to a smooth start. Look how low this is. This is considered a tow package, but I think this isn't a very vulnerable area, Roddy. How much will it sag? Fair bit, actually. Look at that. It's definitely dropped a few inches. That's only 3 tonne. Just for reference, when we unhook this, trailer off, look how much more space. So come down about 2 inches, I reckon. 3.5 tonne would have a bit more ball weight. I reckon you'd have to do something with the back of this car, or you'd be driving like that. All right, we're about to find out how this thing tows. But then came the early impressions, which were surprisingly not as noticeable as I thought it would be straight off. I haven't got my foot flat to the floor yet, but it's definitely working to get going. Foot down, up to 100, what gear we in? 5th gear, 6th gear. And you'd think it would be very similar to the 76. Same size engine, it's got the haul mode. The biggest difference apart from the obvious, the Prado 250 has the 48-volt assist motor. This won't provide the Prado 250 with any extra power, but it is supposed to help it with the initial acceleration, meaning a quicker response. The other difference, the 76 has a 6-speed automatic, whereas the Prado has an 8-speed automatic. I wonder if those 2 gears are going to make much of a difference. Let's find out. Pull into this truck stop just to see how we'll go pulling out into traffic. Let's go, let's go. And afterburners on now. Haul that 3 tonne. It doesn't have any problems doing it. Doing it once is not enough. And the takeoff is no problem in this vehicle. Trans temp still low. What goes fast also needs to stop. Look at that. That's stopping power.
Yeah, that was good. Like almost went up your ass.
Everything looks really positive for the Prado 250 so far. However, things are about to change and the cons are starting to show themselves. I'll leave the biggest issue towards the end though. It's the first time I'm feeling the back end not behaving 100%. Like it's holding it okay, but a little bit of bouncing is expected, but not continuous bouncing if you look closely here. Yeah, I feel the back end not behaving 100%. If we go back and look at when we hooked up the trailer, there's our problem. I do recall in the 76 that it was a little bit loose in the back end. This doesn't feel, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's loose, it feels more like it's just not handling the weight very well. But the 76 held the weight a lot better. Different suspension, of course. This is made for comfort, not for towing 3 tonne. If you really want to tow with this, you're gonna have to upgrade the suspension. I'm approaching a big hill. Am I gonna be disappointed like I was last time? What is going to happen? I got a bloody truck in front of me, so I might not get that good start that I wanted.
Want to hold back a bit, or are you going to try and go with them?
I've only got one shot at this. If I mess it up, I'm not going to be able to calculate the fuel against the 76.
There's no way I can pull over, so I just have to go for it. Now we're just gonna hold 100. That's the aim. Hold 100 kilometers per hour. Dropping back a gear. And we're climbing. Oh, it's powering through. It doesn't give a shit. It's just going. Look at it. 99 kilometers per hour. I'm giving it everything right now. 98 kilometers per hour. So that's dropped a bit. Smashing it. Coolant temp is up. That definitely surprised me a bit. Temperatures did get up there. Not bad. Well, that's halfway. It held the speed though. I did have to slow down towards the top because I was getting a bit fast around that corner. I was overtaking a road train. Smashing it. So I had to actually apply a brake. That's pretty cool. Out of the box. Still got to go back, still got to go up the hill. There's a 200. Hey, where did the other 50 go? Huh? You're missing 50. It's 200.
After listening to my bad jokes, Chris raised an interesting question.
What compared to the 70? I know it was a long time ago.
I'll have to look back at the data to see that actually.
Bullet temps were hotter on the PRADO, being 95 versus 89 on the 76. And although these tests were a year apart, the weather conditions were almost identical. The transmission temps were quite different. The 8-speed PRADO was 93 degrees. The 6-speed 76, 81 degrees. Very low and cool. How can that be? It's possible the 6-speed has just been more refined over the past years. I'm basing this on my previous experience with the 6-speed transmission, as I found it much warmer in my 2020 N80 Hilux. And the 8-speed being quite new, perhaps needs more refinement. 95 degrees is still impressive, but it really shows how freaking awesome the 6-speed is able to disperse the heat. Aside from the heat difference, these are my thoughts on the 8-speed.
Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed that I don't have this gearbox in my 76. I won't say massive, but there was a noticeable difference going up that hill. It just seemed to have those little increments that could just drop down. So we're starting to lose a bit of speed, drop down slightly, and then slightly more. I think it did it like twice. It's actually hard to tell when it drops down in gears because it's such a smooth.
It might have looked pretty impressive so far, but this is a turning point for the PRADO. It's time to reveal the ugly truth. The towing paradox.
Also known as the ugly truth of the 250 PRADO when it comes to towing. If you are going to tow 3.5 tonne with the 250 PRADO, all your passengers better be toddlers. Welcome to the PRADO 250's towing paradox. Gotta say, I'm a little bit disappointed. Increasing a GCM, or towing capacity of a vehicle, doesn't mean it should be towing what it's rated to, because it's just on paper. If you look at it in a practical sense, going all the way back to the 150 PRADO,
This is amazing. So smooth.
this is where the problem started. Well, actually, that one was okay. 2.5 tonne towing capacity, but its payload was 740 kilos, despite having a lower GVM. Now that's pretty impressive for a wagon. That's really impressive actually in today's standard. Its curb weight was only 2250, then they released the facelift. Its curb weight went up slightly, and its towing capacity went up by 500 kilos. The 250, this is where everything went pear-shaped. The curb weight increased by 200 to 300 kilos. Actually, 260 to 310 kilos, depending on which variant you choose. That is a massive increase in curb weight. The GVM, well, it did rise, but not enough. Not enough to mitigate what happened. And then when you increase the towing capacity, it means you also increase the likelihood of a heavier tow ball weight. If you were to tow its maximum load, which is 3.5 tonne or even 3 tonne if you were to do that, your ball weight could be somewhere between 300 kilos to 350 kilos. Let's just be generous and say 300 kilos. It's usually 10 to 15% weight of the trailer. So we're being very generous here. That is 300 kilos coming straight off your payload. And the payload that's left over, if you average it out across all the models of the new 250 PRADO, it's only 600 kilos. You put that ball weight on it, now you're down to 300 kilos. Why is that a problem? Well, before we even go there, let's take the trailer off. We have 602 kilos. Cool, that seems like heaps, but not really. We've yet to add fuel. There's 110 litres of diesel and about 20 litres, probably even more actually, of AdBlue. That equates to roughly 100 kilos. Hang on. We got to drive the bloody thing too, don't we? Let's throw a driver in there. We're nearly down 200 kilos and we haven't even taken off yet.
Let's add a passenger. And one more. And another one. And another one.
See where I'm going with this? And that's before you even look at or think about doing any modifications to the car. So in real terms, let's add a bull bar, a roof rack, and let's just throw 25 kilos of cargo in there. Let's start adding passengers. And again, we have reached the ceiling very quick. Let's hook up a caravan with 300 kilos of tow ball weight. Now we got to kick at least one passenger out.
Get out now, the lot of you.
Okay. Take the accessories off the car. Now we can tow. To be honest though, most people who would get this to tow a big caravan with a family, they would be doing some work to the vehicle to increase the GVM at least. Because otherwise, what are you going to do? You can tow a big van, but you can't fit anyone in the car. Is a GVM upgrade going to get you out of this paradox? Let's say there was a GVM upgrade available for the 250 PRADO right now. I mean, there will be soon. With the GVM currently being 3.1 tonne, let's say you get the maximum up to 3.5 tonne. Awesome, it definitely needs it, and it's something that I'll definitely be doing to my 250 PRADO. But something happens. The gross combined is the trailer and the vehicle. So if the trailer weighs 3.5 tonne and the PRADO weighs 3.5 tonne, that is a combined mass of 7,000 kilos. And the current GCM for the 250 PRADO is 6,600 or 6.6 tonne. Congratulations, you just reached the ceiling of your GCM and you're still screwed. And as far as I'm aware, you cannot increase your GCM unless maybe it's done pre-rego, which means before your vehicle is registered. So unless all your passengers are toddlers, go ahead, tow 3.5 tonne. And that's the towing paradox of the 250 PRADO. It's kind of false advertising, but Toyota aren't the only ones doing this. Every car manufacturer out there, they're all competing with each other. They're all releasing vehicles that can do 3.5 tonne. It's just a load of bullshit. Okay, on a ute, it could make sense because maybe you're towing heavy equipment, sure. But advertising the fact that a PRADO 250 can tow 3.5 tonne and you buy it for that reason, I'm just gonna have to say it, you bought the wrong car. This vehicle should, in my opinion, be towing 2.5 tonne maximum. Maybe go a little bit over that because you always end up with more stuff in the car. Which means you would then be able to put a little bit of modifications on it. Maybe not much at all, but at least you'll be able to put your whole family in the car. Oh man. Modern PRADO, modern tech. Awesome and frustrating at the same time. Sensors. Yeah, okay, that is annoying. Brake. Parking brake support turned off. Very annoying how it beeps. Tell you what, modern cars. Parking support off. That's why I would prefer to tow with the 76 because it doesn't have all this extra tech. You know, you got alarms and bells ringing at you, and all you want to do is just reverse.
How can a vehicle with such a small GVM and a compromised payload be able to tow so damn well?
Towing mode, in the haul mode. That's where all the difference is. Now some might say, well, it's probably the 8-speed gearbox as well, but no, because the 76 series 2.8 has a 6-speed with the same haul mode, and that did a fantastic job.
Here are some other points that you may not have known about haul mode.
This will turn off as soon as I press tow haul mode.
Which means you're locked out of power mode, normal mode, and eco mode.
So that function doesn't work.
Tow haul mode is its own thing.
7th gear is the max you'll be able to get. Towing this size caravan, I haven't seen 7th gear at all.
It also somehow cools down the vehicle much better. Comparing it to normal mode, you'll see much higher temperatures.
One thing I figured out about haul mode, it turns off the auto stop start automatically. So what's the fuel economy going to be like? Well, there's only one way to find out. I just need Chris to move the 200.
I know, but I've got to move the 300 so I can move the 200 so you can get your 250 out.
Earlier, the fuel usage was reading quite high.
Oh, I thought you'd be better on fuel than that.
You are so funny, mate.
Yeah, maybe not 99.9, but it was reading about
22.8 early days though.
It then settled into around 19 litres per 100 closer to the Bowser. Last time I did this run in a 2.876. 4-cylinder 76 series tows 2.9 tonne at 16.6 litres per 100. That is impressive. If the PRADO ends up burning more than 6.6 litres, well, let's see.
Well, here we are back at the PRADO's stomping ground. The car park. Although there's no shopping centre in sight. 12.58 divided by 82 kilometres. 15.3 litres to the 100. That's not bad. For towing that. A little bit surprised. Thought it'd be more 16, 17, maybe 18. Because on my dash it's saying 19 at the moment. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Did the 250 PRADO handle better than the other two vehicles? Done the 70s, we've done the PRADO 250. What about the 200? What about the 300? Well, stay tuned for that. And how did this go? What do you think?